So you want to make $1 million with an AI automation agency. In other words, you want to make a lot of money selling marketing services to businesses that leverage AI. In even other words, you want to send leads to businesses and you want them to pay you a monthly fee. That's all this is, right? No matter if you call it AI automation agency or SMMA, doesn't matter. The whole goal of an agency, a marketing agency, whether that's AI-based or not, right, is to bring businesses more money. And the way you bring businesses more money is bringing them leads. Now, if you use AI to increase the speed at which you do that, well, great. And so in this no fluff video, I'm going to show you step by step in the most boring but practical way how to actually make money with your AI automation agency, or again, in other words, how to make money with a marketing agency that makes businesses money, which in return will make sure they pay you a monthly fee for. So let's jump inside my whiteboard so I can go over step by step how to acquire clients, how to affiliate services, how much to charge, and a bunch more stuff. So let's break it down. All right, so we're here again, no fluff. I'm just going to get straight into it so you can follow along step by step. Now I put a small asterisk right here because you probably won't make $1 million a year. Why? Because most people fail or they quit. Okay, but 10K a month, it is pretty achievable. Now, even though this isn't that much more than 10K a month, right? I mean, it is quite substantially more, but if you can do this, right, you can go for the million, okay? I just put this here because I want to be realistic with you, and if you're just getting started, right, most of you will fail, a lot of you won't even try, and a lot of you will quit. But for those who stick, which are of course the 1%, right, this is pretty achievable, all right? So let's get going. Very first thing is, of course, what service are you going to be providing? Well, you're going to be providing the best service, in my opinion, the highest ROI one, which is search-based marketing. And what this is, right, we all use search engines, right? Whether you use Google or Bing or Amazon, right? Google and Bing are, of course, more or less text-based search engines. Let me just increase the size of this pen. I can't do it. Wait, never mind. So Google and Bing are the classic search engines we all use, and they're mostly text-based. Okay, sometimes when you search for something, a video comes up, right? But mostly they're text-based in the sense that the results these search engines give you are like pages or blogs, whatever, right? Then we have a product-based search engines like Amazon, Etsy, eBay, right? These are product-based search engines. Like you go on Amazon, you search for a product, and then a bunch of product listings come up, right? Pretty simple. Then you have, for example, video-based search engines like TikTok or YouTube, right? You go and the search results are a list of a bunch of videos, right? These are all search engines. And I'll tell you why in a second, why we want to go for search-based marketing and not social media marketing in a second. And then, of course, nowadays we have the new, let's call them AI, LLM, so large language model based search engines. That's your ChatGPT, your Perplexity, your Grok, which is the one from Twitter, right? We have all these, right? Again, all these, and people think, just a small tangent, people think people are going to stop using Google or Bing and just use these. That's not true. I recorded a video on that. I'll leave it down below if I can find it. But people use different search engines for different things, right? Just like people use Amazon to search for products, or for example, they use TikTok to watch reviews, or they go on YouTube to watch long form tutorials, or they go on Google and Bing to read stuff, right? People, based on the intent of the search, go for different search engines, okay? Now, of course, it's not to say that people cannot search for products on Google. They can, right? Some of them just search on Amazon. Some of them just go on Google, right? Some of them just go on TikTok. Some of them just go on YouTube, right? Some of them just go on these AI-based search engines, right? People are spread out, I guess, across multiple search engines and in accordance, of course, with the search intent. Now, reason why we're going to be providing this service, search-based intent marketing, which is also called SEO, which is called search engine optimization, right? We are optimizing for the search engine, whichever that search engine might be, right? Right now, we're going to be focusing on Google and Bing and these AI LLM-based search engines because it's easier, right? You can provide services, of course, for TikTok and YouTube and all these, right? But TikTok and YouTube are social media, so we'd be providing social media marketing services, not search-based, even though you could make and you could optimize the content to be searched on these, but more on that later on. And for these, this is like e-commerce search engine optimization, e-commerce SEO, right? Optimizing to rank on Amazon and all those other product listings or product type search engines. And so the service we're going to be providing is simple, right? We're going to take the client's website, this is their website, right? And we are going to first understand, okay, who their customer is, right? What they sell and the keywords they want to show up for. These three things are key, right? Pretty straightforward, right?
We have to understand all these. Otherwise, how can we be able to provide a decent service if we don't know, right, what they sell, who they sell it to, and what keywords they want to show up for? For example, I'll give you an example. If your client is a plumber, or let's say your client is, for example, a plastic surgeon, right? Well, they want to, who is their customer? So just surgeon. Who is their customer? Well, people looking for cosmetic procedures, right? This is a bit broad, right? If you, for example, just his, or for example, a mommy makeover surgeon, which I know all this because I've worked with surgeons in the past for their marketing. This is like a type of surgery women usually make after they give birth to get their breasts up again and tighten up their belly. So it's named like this. So point here is that if you were just a surgeon for this, very specific, well, your customer would be your ICP, or your ideal client profile would be a bit more specific. For example, moms, right? Or moms who recently gave birth, right? Just a bit more specific, right? But that doesn't matter for now. Just want to give you that example. Then what they sell? Okay, they sell plastic surgery services. And then you got to be specific, like rhinoplasty, don't know how to spell, breast augmentation or reduction, doesn't matter. So a bunch of the services, you gotta know what they do, right? Then, of course, the keywords you want to rank for. Well, of course, if you're a surgeon, you want to show up when people search for best plastic surgery clinic in location, right? And again, you're going to have to, they're going to want to rank for a bunch of different variations. For example, how much does a rhinoplasty cost? Or what's the best mommy makeover surgeon in NYC, or I guess in location? So point is that you got to figure out, do some keyword research, which we'll do in a bit, right, on what they want to rank for. Because again, you know who their customer is, right? You know what they sell. So now you got to connect both. What would the people, the customer who want to buy this, search for on search engines like Google, Bing, and these ones? And why are we doing search marketing? Well, it's because it's the most effective way to do marketing, because there's an intent behind it. Let me explain, right? You could, for example, manage their social media. You could manage their Instagram. You could manage their TikToks, right? The thing is that when you are scrolling on TikTok, right, you're just going down with your finger, right? And you're looking at funny memes or whatever. Every time an ad pops up, or every time, like, even if it's not an ad, every time like a product promotion pops up, right? Your first thought is, okay, let me just scroll past this promotion. So it is a bit intrusive, right? When you're on Facebook and you're scrolling and an ad shows up, it is intrusive. Not that you may not click it. You can click it, of course, and you can make ads, and you can make organic posts to target people looking for this type of stuff. Of course, not saying that doesn't work. It does work. However, it's much more effective to only have your site and offer show up when people search for stuff. Because I can assure you that if you can have your site show up number one, right, for when someone searches for plastic surgery or rhinoplasty in Dallas, right, and they click it, they're much more likely to click and convert than you having to find and having you to produce content for the surgeon about plastic surgery in Dallas, whatever, and not sort of praying someone looking for one of those surgeries scrolls past your video. Hopefully this makes sense, but we'll dive deep into that in a bit more. Point here is that search-based marketing allows you to be super targeted, because you're only ranking for keywords your potential customers are actively searching for on Google, right? Someone looking for price of a rhinoplasty in Lisbon or New York City, right? They know what a rhinoplasty is. They're looking for the price in this city, so most likely they are interested in doing this and paying someone to do it for them. So it's easier to capture. Now that you know what the service is, right? Second thing is, okay, client acquisition. So how do you find clients? Let's keep it with the same example, like a plastic surgeon. Okay, how do you find plastic surgery clinics to pay you to do this for them? Well, there's a bunch of things you can do. I'll just do the thing that I think it's fastest, I guess, which is basically call them up. And when I say call them up, it's just you can email them, you can DM them on Instagram, you can find ways to reach out to them, okay, and offer them an insane guarantee. And we'll go over this in a bit. Why offer them an insane guarantee? Well, because they get a ton of emails, right? If we're talking about local businesses or even like e-commerce stores, any business out there gets a ton of emails from people wanting to sell them things, right? If you have a business right now, I'm sure your inbox is filled with people wanting to do marketing for you, people wanting to come into your business and fix whatever, right? If you're a business, you get a lot of people doing outreach to sell you stuff. That's just how it works. So how do you stand out? Well, you offer an insane guarantee. I'll give you an example, right? One of our guarantees in one of the services we offer is this, which I don't think anyone else offers, right? We offer a 25% increase in Google traffic in 180 days, guaranteed, or we work for free until we do if you don't get it, right? So people pay us and we say, hey, listen, you give us money and we guarantee we'll increase your traffic by 25%, or we don't get paid. That's a pretty good offer, right? Why would I say no, right? It's more painful to say no. So you gotta create an offer where it's more painful they say no than if they accept. And you do this with an insane guarantee. You can say, hey, listen, you call them up or DM them, hey, listen, I know you get a ton of these messages, I know it's hard, your inbox is full, but I'm different. I can guarantee a 25% increase in your Google traffic in 90 days, or you don't pay, right? And how are you able to offer such a guarantee? Well, it's because you have to know what you're doing. And I'll teach you, don't worry, right? You know what the service is and you know how to get clients. Getting clients, people make this like such a big deal. It is not, right? It's as simple as getting in touch with people, whether that's over the phone or via DM or via email, doesn't matter. And I understand if this is your first time, it's hard. It will always be hard the first time. But the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. For example, when I was acquiring my first client, was actually a plastic surgeon, I did this with another method, which was the rank and rent method, which I talked about in previous videos. But I got a plumber with this method. I called them up and I said, hey, listen, I know you get all these calls, whatever. I don't remember what I said actually exactly, but I know you get all these calls, but I can guarantee you get XYZ more leads per month in XYZ days, something like along these lines. And the first guy said no. Second guy said no. Third guy said no. I think like the sixth or seventh guy said, okay, sure. And we booked, and I went into a meeting with them. Because the thing with this guarantee is that you're not going to collect payment over the phone. The thing with this guarantee, and the reason why it's insanely valuable for them, is because it's a foot in the door technique. Your goal with this is to make it so valuable that they want to listen to you, right? That you go out in their offices and actually speak with them and explain in detail who you are, what you do, and what the offer is. Because nobody's going to pay you over the phone, because they have no idea who you are. So the good thing about this guarantee is that you'll be heard. You'll at least be listened. You have a chance over all these other people that just spam people emails and expect businesses to pay them without any social proof, without any guarantee, without nothing, right? No business in their right mind would do that. And more nowadays, which they're blasted even more, would do that. Now, you're going to be offering this guarantee for both the AI SEO, okay, which is done in the ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Grok, and the classic SEO, which is done in Google and Bing. In other words, you're going to be offering them to rank their site first on Google and Bing and have their site mentioned on GPT, Perplexity, and Grok. I say mentioned because these, right, you've used ChatGPT in the past. When you search for something, it's not like Google, right? Google gives you like a list of results, right? ChatGPT is much more conversational and gives you like a text with some citations, right, where this info came from. So it's different. You're basically cited, you're basically recommended in these AI search engines, okay? So that's the service you're going to be offering them. You're going to give them exposure based off of search marketing in Google, Bing, GPT, Perplexity, Grok, and any other search-based search engines. Okay. So hopefully this makes sense. Again, if you have any questions, just comment down below and I'll help you out. If you have any questions about any of these, if you want me to be more specific, let me know. Okay. Third thing, of course, choosing the keywords to rank. So you know what the service is. You hopefully by now know how to acquire clients, because that's simple, right? Now, okay, let's say you have a client paying you. Client just pay you $2,500 or $2,000 today. What do you do? Now, I recommend you firstly try and learn search-based marketing first in SEO before you acquire clients, because, I mean, if you have no idea what to do, most likely you'll fail. So either learn this a bit, try it in your own sites, and then only acquire a client, just to be safe, okay? Or we have people, I've had people come up to me and, not come up to me, I've had people I know that had no idea how to do SEO. They acquired a client first, and then because the client was paying them, they were forced to learn. And they succeeded with it, because that pressure is good, because that pressure makes you have to act, makes you have to do stuff, makes you have to investigate, makes you have to spend long hours trying and testing stuff. So that pressure is somewhat good to some extent. Now, going back to this, choosing the right keywords, going for buying intent, don't go for traffic, because your goal isn't necessarily to get them more traffic, right? They don't care about traffic, they care about sales, okay? At the end of the day, if they're paying you $2K a month, they want to make sure they make 5K back, 10K back, right? They want to get a return on their investment, ROI. That's all businesses care for. If you can bring them $1 million a month in extra revenue, they have no problem paying you $2 million, right? They're printing money. They're giving you $2 million. They're giving you $1 million, but you're giving them $2 million back. So that's all they care about. It's pure revenue at the end of the day. Okay, so that's why you got to look for the potential a keyword has to bring them more money. For example, let's go over here to the plastic surgeon example again. If I were to rank their site for, right, let's say again, rhinoplasty surgery in New York City, I could rank their site for keywords like rhinoplasty or what's a rhinoplasty. Sorry for my writing. How do we spell this? Let me just triple check. Okay, there we go. Kylie Jenner rhinoplasty before and after, like this, right? Or for example, that's a bit of a weird one. How do we write rhinoplasty? A bit of a weird one, but this is all gonna make sense. I could rank their site for this, right? Or I could rank their site for stuff like, does insurance X cover rhinoplasty? Rhinoplasty cost in that or NYC. Rhinoplasty clinic in NYC. Rhinoplasty clinic, or I guess cheap. I don't know if people will go for cheap in these types of services. Let's just assume so. Cheap rhinoplasty in NYC. So the thing is that even though these keywords, let's say that the sum of the search volume, so the number of people searching for these keywords on Google and Bing and all these engines, right, is like 10K a month. But the sum of the search of people searching for these ones is like 1K. Now, you might think the client would be happier getting more traffic, right? The thing is that the buying intent, the intent for someone searching for these keywords, the intent they have of buying something, in this case buying a rhinoplasty, right, is much lower. So the buying intent here is much lower than the buying intent here. The buying intent here is higher. Why? Well, because someone's searching for rhinoplasty costs, well, they know what it is, right? They're actively looking for it in their area, and they're looking for the cost, right? Or if they're looking for a clinic, well, most likely they want to do it. While someone's searching, for example, for Kylie Jenner rhinoplasty before and after, well, they might just be a fan. They might just be a paparazzi. I mean, they might even be someone who wants to do it, but they're just too high up in the funnel, because there's like a funnel from, this is the sale. This is where they do the surgery, right? People come in here, right? They search for the thing, what it is, right? What is a rhinoplasty? They search for maybe famous people who done it, right? Famous people. Then they're searching for the price, right? Then they search for maybe it's safe. Excuse me. Maybe first they search for, is it safe? Sorry. Then the price. Then they search for a clinic, right? And the more specific they get, or not the more specific, the higher the buying intent, of course, the lower they are in the funnel, right? The closer they are to making money, right? If you go for super broad stuff, like just even rhinoplasty, right? Wikipedia will show up, and people searching for this could just be people wanting to know what it is, how it works. Could be people just looking for what the word means, right? I mean, it's too top of the funnel. Again, not to say people searching for this don't necessarily want to do it, but most of them most likely not. So you want to go for keywords with high buying intent, right? Think of keywords people would search for in these search engines like Google, Bing, GPT, Perplexity, whatever, right? Think of keywords, people would search for in here that they have high buying intent, that someone searching for them is very likely to want to go and buy the product or service. Now, the easiest keyword, right? Let's say, for example, you're selling plants, right? A plant, right? Or let's say you're selling palm trees, right? If this is your product, well, the biggest high buying intent keyword is buy palm tree online, right? Boom. This is the easiest one, right? Someone searching for this, well, they of course want to buy one. But of course, this is very hard to rank for. So what you got to do is you got to figure out and find high buying intent keywords with low competition. And so for this, what you can do is you can go out and build what I call a keyword matrix, which basically just pretty simple, make an X, a graph. In the Y-axis, we have buying intent, right? And in the X-axis, we have, traffic. And of course, the higher the traffic for a keyword, the higher the competition. You list all the keywords, right, you think the business wants to rank for, and then place them here, place them in these quadrants, right? And then you don't go for keywords here nor here. Why? Because keywords here have low buying intent. Low buying intent, low traffic, low buying intent, high traffic. So not only here are they harder to rank, but if you rank for them, it's quite pointless because nobody's going to buy, or less people are going to buy. Well, you go for keywords here and here. Why? Because in these two quadrants, we have high buying intent, high traffic, and low traffic. These are ideal ones because they have high buying intent, and at the same time, they have low traffic, so that's low competition. These are hard to come by, but they exist, okay? So here, that's what you should do basically, okay, with this. Pretty simple, never easy, but pretty simple so far. Hopefully this is making sense so far. Now, after you have your keywords, well, of course, now it's time to, of course, create content, because you want to choose the keywords and then create content to rank for those keywords. Now, what you do is you produce, and I'll give you like what I do exactly, because I want this video to be like super specific. Let's say this is the client site, the homepage. Okay, let's again go for the rhinoplasty clinic. Okay, this is their main site. Okay, what you do is, if they don't have this already, of course, let's assume they have nothing, or let's assume if they have it, but you want to optimize it, right? What you do is you build out a ton of service pages, okay, for all the services they have. So let's say rhinoplasty, maybe they have as well breast augmentation, maybe they have as well mommy makeover, maybe they have, I don't know, ear surgery. I think that's called otoplasty, not too sure. So you build out these service pages. And again, if they have them, right, already, don't worry, I'm going to show you how to optimize them, right? Service pages, okay? And the goal of these service pages, well, they of course are all going to link to the homepage, okay, right? And this, right, this is their brand. This is their brand. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that Google, Bing, GPT, all these engines associate your brand with a certain thing. In this case, a plastic surgery clinic. So how do you make sure all these search engines view your brand and view you as the authority in the space for being a plastic surgery clinic in NYC, right? What you do is you build out what we call topical authority, right? You make your homepage relevant for the location. So you tell them, hey, listen, this is in NYC. Add your address to the footer, right? All your social media, right? This also contributes, all your social media, which of course link to the homepage, right? Tag the videos in that location, okay? Make sure you mention in your bios that you are a clinic in NYC. All these little factors add up, right? Then, of course, talk about rhinoplasty, right? Have an about page about who your surgeons are, right? Tim from New York has been in the industry for XYZ years. He does all these surgeries. So what we're doing, right, is when these engines crawl our sites, they'll read through the about page and see, okay, so this is this surgeon, he lives in New York, he does all these services. So now they're gathering info of who the brand is. It's Tim, lives in New York, does all these services. So they start to think your site is relevant for it's a plastic surgery clinic that does rhinoplasty, that does all these different services. Okay, cool. And then they go out and go through these pages and saying, okay, they do all these services, cool. And then in these services pages, you tell them, hey, you also write, hey, this is how much it costs. So you type in the time of the procedure, right? You type in before and afters, okay? You type in whatever, right? You make these pages hyper relevant for, again, keywords people would be searching for to buy or to do this service. And so these pages not only become relevant for, of course, your niche, plastic surgery, but also for keywords you want to rank for, that people are searching for. Hopefully this makes sense. And then what you do is you go out and create a blog. A blog is the easiest way to make your site, your brand relevant, okay? You go out and build a blog, right? And build a bunch of blog pages that talk about every single thing you do, right? Plastic surgery, before and afters, XYZ surgery, Kylie Jenner doing XYZ surgery, right? Even though that maybe is a bit top of funnel, maybe you can convert some of those people. Doesn't matter. You got to produce bottom of the funnel and top of the funnel content, making sure that you guys become the authority in the space for everything and anything related with plastic surgery. That's pretty much it. This is super simple, right? Anyone can understand this. It is super simple, right? Never easy, but it is super simple. Produce high quality content about your niche that your potential customers could be searching for, right? And that's how you become the authority in the niche. That's how these search engines, right? Google and Bing will rank your certain pages, service pages with location tags, or blog post pages when people search for certain keywords. That's how these AI engines, will rank you as well. And I did a video on this, on how to rank or get recommended by these AI agents. But there's a high correlation between your rankings on Google and Bing and your mentions, I guess, in these AI engines. Because where do you think they get the info from, right? ChatGPT doesn't come up with info, right? ChatGPT browses your sites or browses sites they think are relevant, right? And then takes info from there. Grok, for example, browses Twitter a lot. If you've watched my previous video, I think Grok, right? None of these are biased, but Grok, for example, browses Twitter because, of course, Grok was built by Twitter. So Twitter puts a lot of weight into info people write on Twitter. And on Twitter, you can write blog posts. You can have like a page for your the clinic, right? And write these big blog post onto another tweet, like a literal blog post, I think they call it a blog post, which then index in Google as well. So you're building all this authority in the space. You're putting out a lot of content of who you are, who your brand is, etc., making sure that these guys know that you guys are the go-to clinic in NYC for whichever procedures you want. And the way you build out this trust, the way you build out the way you make sure that they know about you is by producing content. That's basically produce content, produce more content, produce better content than the one that's out there. Take the keywords you want to rank for, paste them in Google, right, and see, okay, who's ranking for these keywords? Which brands are ranking for these keywords, right? And okay, click some of the brands. Okay, do they have social media? Which social medias do they have, right? How many backlinks they have? We'll talk about backlinks in a bit, right? How many blog posts they have? What do the blog posts that are ranking talk about? Can I write the same blog post with a bit more content, a bit more context, maybe make them a bit prettier, right? All this comes into play. And I'll speak about backlinks and making it prettier in a bit. But now again, of course, I'm going to talk about backlinks, as I said. Building backlinks, key, right? Key. Why? Because all these, right, you're producing content, right? And one of the ways these AI engines and Google and Bing, right, understand if this is high quality content people want to read is if you get links to it. For example, let's say, you write an amazing article about rhinoplasty and Forbes writes an article talking about your clinic and links to you, right? Or Huffington Post links to you. Or, I don't know, CNN makes a news piece about your surgeon and links to you, right? Google trusts these sources. Google trusts these high authoritative sources. And so if Google trusts these guys and they see them linking to you, well, they will also start trusting you. That's why backlinks and link building is a key part of SEO. We talk about content, you got to produce the content, right? And then, of course, having people link to that content, sharing it on social as well, right? And you can go watch this video right here and this one as well, which basically go over exactly how I build backlinks, okay? Because it's super important, okay? And by the way, for creating content, you can go watch this video right here, which goes a bit more in depth on how to create quote unquote SEO optimized content. So I'll leave those 3 links for those videos in the description because that's key, right? So don't worry, I wanted this to be super actionable, but I've recorded videos on some of these things. I don't want to be repeating myself. So go watch those ones right there if you want to learn how to write proper content and how to build backlinks, because backlinks just work. It is insane how good backlinks work. And a lot of people know that they need backlinks, like links from Forbes, whatever, but they don't actually do it because it's complex. But in those videos, I explain you how you do it, okay? Then, number 6, improving your UI and your UX. It's pretty simple, right? If your site is ugly, you won't get any sales, right? Especially in the health niche, right? If your site doesn't convey any trust, you could be ranking number 1, right? But if it looks old, outdated, right? I don't really trust it, right? And you most likely as well. Make sure your site is decent, right? Have an updated design, right? Make sure as well that it's a good UX, a user experience. Make sure it's optimized for mobile, right? Most people access the internet on their mobile phones. So if I cannot browse your site properly, I was actually just browsing a site from a personal trainer today, right? And on desktop, it was great. But on mobile, on the section for the testimonials, the before and afters, which is one of the biggest things people want to see, like how good is this guy? How good are their PT services? I want to see the before and afters. On the mobile phone, I wasn't able to scroll past the first picture. It was bugging out. And these things play a huge part, right? The perceived value your brand gets if it's a beautiful site, right? If it works well, is insane. And of course, if not just that, right? If your site doesn't work, people just click off and click the second result. So that's that. The biggest example of a high perceived value is Apple, right? Apple phones, iPhones, I have one, right? But they tend to be worse than Samsung's in terms of features. Worse cameras, less storage, whatever. Still, Apple outsells them, I think, or it makes more money than them because it's perceived as a premium, better quality product, even though in some instances it might not be. So hire a UI UX designer to improve their site, and they're gonna love it, right? If you include in your first month's fee, right? Even if you make less money, less profit, if you can revamp their site, if they want, of course, they'll love you more for that, right? You give so much more value up front in the first month than they were expecting. And of course, you don't need to just revamp their site without letting them know. You can have the designer make like a mock-up, and then you show the mock-up to the client saying, hey, listen, guys, I did this. I think changing this to the site, making it look like this could improve our conversions, could make us more money. Do you guys want me to implement it right now? And then you do it. Hopefully this makes sense. Then number 7, is optimizing for technical SEO. Now, this is a big one. This is the boring stuff about SEO, which is like schema markup, your meta titles, your meta tags, your site speed. I'll just give you an example. So if I go here and just search site, this is your meta title and this is your meta description, right? And these need to be optimized both for SEO, so you got to sprinkle in your keywords in there, and for CTR, for click-through rate. Because even though I'm ranking first, right, people might maybe click the second result because maybe this is more enticing, right? Maybe the copy they use here is more fun, is more whatever, right? People might click the second result. So think about this as a way to increase CTR as well. And this is what technical SEO is. This is like boring stuff. Meta titles, meta descriptions, schema markup, which can give you like these little star ratings. I'll show you here quickly. Dallas Plumber, right? Here's an example of schema markup, which is this little tag of code you can add to your site that gives you stuff like this, right? And let's say, even though this guy is ranking above them, right? Not only is this one's meta title much more enticing than this one, I think, but they also have this, which gives them more pixels. They're way, way bigger, right? And they have something in the results that nobody else has, right? And this is done with schema markup. This is like the boring stuff of SEO, okay? And you can go watch, I think, this video right here, which breaks down exactly how to do all this little nitty-gritty stuff, which is kind of boring, but it's very important. And not that your client will actually necessarily see any of this. They might see some things, but in the long run, these technical optimizations is what will outrank you or having you be cited in these much more competitive niches, right? Because in very competitive niches, you have like a lot of people like fighting for the same bone, and these little things that not a lot of people do will get you the edge over them for some keywords. So that's very important. Go watch that video. Then number 8, of course, ranking on the classic Google and Bing search engine. So, and 9, ranking on the AI-based search engine. So these two things, right? This is in essence how you do SEO. So how we actually do this craft, the step-by-step craft on how to actually rank sites. And again, I recorded training on this for free. You can go watch these videos right here. Again, I'll leave them all in the description, which are like long hour videos, like breaking down how to do all this step-by-step. Because again, it doesn't make sense for me to record all this stuff again because it's already there for you. So go watch it. And I think most of you won't really do it because, I mean, most people just don't, which is natural. But hopefully, if you're still here right now, please, 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 after this video ends, go watch those ones because those will give you much more insights on how to actually do SEO, right? How to do this craft. Because I think, at least as of now, you were able to understand pretty much how this is done, what the service is, how you acquire clients, how to do all this stuff. But this is more top level stuff. If you want more than nitty-gritty stuff, right, go watch those videos right there. So that's that. And then finally, number 10, of course, how much to charge. Now, I could go into super complex things right here, but I want to keep it simple. I want to keep it simple because simple is easy. Just go for a flat fee, $1,200 to $3,000 a month max, 1.2 to 3K a month. That's it. This should be enough that it's not too high, that businesses will be too opposed to it. And it's enough that if you're just getting started, it's enough for you to try and test stuff. And it's enough for you to get things going, right? With just 3 or 4 clients, you're making like 10K a month, right? Again, I know I'm making this sound super simple, but it is simple. It's never easy, right? I won't say that, but it is super simple, right? So don't overthink things. What I see a lot in the beginners is they overthink things. And I was like that. And I'm saying this because I was in your shoes before. I was overthinking things. So how much should I charge? Like, but all this stuff doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, none of this matter. Just call up a bunch of businesses, go for the kill, get them on an insane offer guarantee, go out and because of the guarantee, go to the client, go meet with them, tell them who you are, show your face, be transparent, say what you're going to do for them, say in how much time, say how much the pricing is, and go from there. Boom, that's it. All the rest you'll figure out, right? All these nitty-gritty stuff, you'll figure it out. That's it. It is just that simple. So don't overcomplicate this. This range for this type of service is more than enough, and they will love you for it. So that's it. Okay. And so now you might be wondering, okay, but where does AI come in? Well, think about it. Like AI isn't any magic tool, right? AI is not the magic technology. Let me give you an analogy, right? Let's say me and you, right? Let me just zoom in a bit more. This is me right here, and this is you, right? And we are in a table building competition. The person who builds the most tables the fastest wins, okay? And the job is simple. You got 2 legs, and you got the top, right? You got to screw in the legs. There's little screws. You got to screw in the legs to the table. Now, you're using your hand, right? And I'm using a screwdriver, okay? Now, again, at the end of the competition, we're both going to have tables set up. The thing is that I'm able to set up many more tables, many more than you, much faster. Hopefully this makes sense. Basically, I use this tool, which this is, of course, an analogy for AI. AI is simply a tool that augments or increases or expands the human effort, right? Just like when you're running ads, if you run ads to a shitty offer, right, you won't make any money. Or to a shitty product, you won't make any money, right? If your product is good, ads amplify your revenue, your traffic, right? AI, right, is just technology that amplifies what you were already doing. So again, you're using your hand, I'm using a screwdriver. They both do the same thing, right? Your hand can tighten up the screws, but the screwdriver can tighten up the screws so much faster. So I'm going to build so many more tables than you. So again, at the end of the day, we both build tables, but I just do it so much faster and honestly better because the screwdriver is able to tighten up just a bit harder than your hand can. So AI is simply that. And so how do you apply AI to all this? Well, use ChatGPT to write content, right? Use AI outreaching tools to build backlinks, right? Use AI in every single instance you can, right? Again, AI isn't a magic tool, and I won't tell you to use a specific tool. You can, but I won't mention specific tools. The point here, and this is sort of a buzzword nowadays, right? AI automation agency. Doesn't matter if it is AI or not. AI is just technology, right? I mean, AI is just a tool that aids you in doing your work faster. You can choose not to use it, but in this case, I recommend you do. And you might be asking, like, why do I share all this stuff? Well, the goal is to have you do all this, have success with this, so that eventually you try out my tool, which is an AI tool that automates a bunch of the processes for you. Now, if you're just getting started, don't use this, right? Because it's important that you understand how things are done manually, right? Oftentimes because again, going back to the screwdriver example, if I just give you a screwdriver, you have no idea what it is or what to do with it, well, you won't be able to use it, right? Just like with this software, right? This software is amazing. It essentially automates a bunch of your SEO processes. It does a bunch of search marketing for you on autopilot, right? The blogs on autopilot, syndicates some social media, and a bunch more stuff, right? The thing is that if you don't know how to use it because you don't know the basics of SEO, it's quite pointless. But again, my goal and the reason why I share all this for free, like a bunch of the courses, please check them down below. I'll link a bunch of them down below. The reason why I share all this is so that eventually when you're comfortable in this, when you know what you're doing, then you go out and use my AI to just increase the speed at which you do this so much faster. And then you're able to charge clients more money because you do things faster than the competition. Because we're still very early in the AI space. And the reality is that if you're not using AI, you're going to get left behind. So that's why I share all this stuff, so that in the future you use my tool. So that's it. Hopefully this was valuable. Please check all the resources down below in the description, all the free courses to understand how to do this more in depth in more of a step-by-step manner. And any questions you guys have, comment down below. I'll answer them even a month from now, 2 months from now, a year from now. I'll keep on answering your questions. So if there's any specific thing you felt like could be a bit more clearer, any specific question you have about pricing, about SEO, doesn't matter. Ask down below. Every single question is valid. There are no dumb questions. So please ask them down below. I'll answer them as best as I can. Thanks so much for watching. Check the resources, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.